What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Andrea B., the host of the You're Not Done Yet podcast. So we've decided to switch it up a little bit and do a Zoom interview. And we are talking today to Mr. Jevon Wooden. Jevon, how you doing today? How you feeling?
I feel amazing. Hey, thank you for having me here, Andrea. And I'm just ready to have this conversation. I don't know, we're gonna add a ton of value for the listeners. So let's get it.
Yes. So today we are talking with Mr. Wooden, who is a mindset coach. So for those who don't know what a mindset coach, vulnerability, accountability coach is, give us a little background on that.
Yeah, for sure. So I focus on specifically what I mean by mindset and perception coach is just making sure that you design a life you don't need a vacation from. And how you do that is you change your perception from one of negativity and scarcity, where you feel like I can't, I don't have, or I won't have, or I don't deserve, to saying, how can I get, right? How can I be that person that I'm trying to be?
Right.
And you change your perception to say, hey, it's possible. Right? Because if you think it's impossible, it's not going to happen.
Right.
So my whole practice, my whole focus, like you mentioned, vulnerability, it's about being willing to allow yourself to open up to things, to possibilities, right? Communicating with those people you wouldn't talk to, signing up for those courses, signing up for coaching, whatever it is, allowing yourself to heal properly, move past your mistakes so you can increase your confidence, your self-esteem, and the quality of life.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I need to set up a coaching session.
Yeah, set it up. Get your free discovery session there, 45-minute discovery session.
Yes. So my question is, how did we get here? How did we get to becoming a coach and being so strongly feeling about your confidence, you building a life that you want to desire? How do we get there?
Sure. I mean, it's been an arduous journey, right? I've been through everything I'm talking about, I've been through the lack of vulnerability, and I've seen where that got me. I faced 7 to 10 years in prison for an assault and robbery charge because I wasn't vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right? Because I had the scarcity mentality that I didn't deserve, or I couldn't have things, right? Coming from an impoverished area in Rochester, New York, right? Seeing nothing but drug dealers and murder and all this other stuff. That's all I knew. So I had to change my mindset. Once God gave me that second chance and let me out of jail, and he said, hey, this is your second chance, man. And I had to realize that the resources weren't money. That's not the most important resource. Actually, that's like, if you don't have the right mindset, money is not going to help you. It's just going to exacerbate your issues. Right. So I realized that my resources was really my strong will, determination, and the passion I had. Right. So I had to leverage those to get to this point where I'm speaking to you today. Right. It wasn't easy. Like, none of this change is not easy, right? Because if you don't see yourself being something, then you won't become. So I did a lot of personal development, invested in myself heavily, right? And it's gotten me to where I am now.
Yeah. So how important is personal development? People always say, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to own $1 million company, or I want to get married within the next year, or, I want to work on my relationships with my friends and my parents, but they don't want to take the time to work on themselves first. So how important is personal development?
Man, you preaching today. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna tell you, like, I hear that all the time. Yo, I wanna, or I'm gonna, or I'll try. That's language. You already defeated yourself. Because you're speaking as if like it's not happening, right? You're just saying, oh, I plan to do this, but you really didn't make a plan to do it. Right? You're just making it. You're just talking about it. So I always tell people, like, personal development is taking the action. Like, I've already done it, right? I've invested in this course, right? I bought that book, whatever it is that you need to do. Make sure you should be speaking in past tense. Because you should already be investing in yourself, because you ask how important it is, it's paramount, right? You cannot move forward if you're not investing in yourself, you're not developing yourself, at least one thing each day, right? Okay. And sometimes personal development could literally be taking a rest to absorb what you've already taken in, right? Because that's just as important. The rest is just as important as the work. But you got to make sure everything you're doing is calculated, right? You can't just be going all willy-nilly, because we see it all the time. Like, people invest in 1,000 courses, but they're not actually doing the work. So I want people, your listeners, to know when you invest in yourself, implement it.
Yeah.
Don't just buy the book and be like, oh, that was good. Right. Yeah. Don't just buy the course and be like, yeah, that was cool. That was good info. And actually implement it.
Yeah. And then honestly, though, that goes like really tying in well into like walking into your purpose, only because you have to be willing to look at self before God is going to be like, well, I'm not going to release this, to you until you actually like stand where I'm telling you to stand right now.
Yes.
It's something I need you to work on in order for you to get from this step to that step. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. So, and it's just crazy because, like I said, people don't want to work on self. They want to work on everything else around them except for self.
Yes.
except for self. Except for self. So like, when did you know, like, you had to take a step back and like really sit back and focus on you? Like, when did you realize that?
Like, when I was sitting in the cell.
Yeah.
When
you had all the time to think then, right?
I had all the time to think, man, for real. But it was like, I was sitting at my mom and my sister had visited me. And after their visit, that's when because I didn't care when I first went. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna do this, whatever. You don't think about it because you're, for one, you're child-minded. I'm 17. I'm not really an adult. I'm not thinking about the consequences truly until I heard that sentence. But yeah, when they visited me and then I went back up to the south, said, you know what? Like I'm being selfish in the wrong way. Right? Because you people have to realize being selfish is not necessarily a bad thing. It's about how you're being selfish. So I had to realize like what I was doing was selfish in the wrong way. Right. I'm out here trying to get the fast money. I wasn't really making no money. Yeah. Right? But I'm out here trying to get the fast money because again, that's the only way I've seen. But you have to really take that step back to see what opportunities you can create. Yeah. Because a lot of times we sit there and wait and we think we got to be handed opportunities. It doesn't work that way. Right? If you're not working in the correct way, then you're not creating the opportunity. You're not manifesting that opportunity. Yeah. So that's very important to understand. Like when it seems like you're hitting the wall and there's no other way, use someone else's eyes to see what you need to do. Right? Because sometimes that's why, like you were talking about how when you're in it, you can't really, you can't really find your purpose because you're too close to the fight. Right. That's why every boxer has a corner man. That's why every player has a coach because they can see things you can't see. Right. And that's the most important thing I want people to know. That's where the vulnerability kicks in, because vulnerability is saying, I don't know what I need to do. Right. Or I don't know what resources I have because I feel like I have nothing. Right. So you have to be willing to say, yo, let me get this person. Let me speak to someone. Yeah. Right. To get that help. Right. It could be anybody. Yeah. Just make sure you have to be careful about friends and stuff, though, because they're biased. So that's why you always want to get someone who's unbiased so you can talk to them and they're going to keep it real with you.
Yes. And honestly, I have found that to be one of my greatest investments. Finding someone who's going to tell me when I'm wrong. Finding someone that's going to say, okay, now, like I saw what you did, but that ain't what you're supposed to do. But also letting me know like, hey, yeah, you may have made that mistake, but these are the steps to make it better. Not someone that's just going to praise me for making a wrong mistake and was like, okay, yeah, girl, you did that. And it's just like, like I need someone who's going to sit me to the side and just be like, listen, you need to get your stuff together. I don't know how you do it, when you do it, but you need to get yourself together. And then I also feel like that kind of like plays into like the environment. So, people always say like, oh, if I move away to another city, like I'm gonna blow up, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but changing their environment. But I kind of feel like when you're put into an environment and God is like, you need to sit there and stay there, it's a reason why you're put into that environment. So I know that you did live in Rochester and now you're in Houston. What did that change of environment do for you? Like, so what did it do for you?
I mean, change of environment can really launch you, right? But it's really, you can't just be moving there to run away. Okay. Like, you have to be running towards something, not away from something. Okay. Right? So you have to understand that when you're changing your environment, you should also be changing your mind. Yeah. Now that's where a lot of people fail. You see a lot of people move and then they have to move back because they didn't change their mindset. They didn't change their work ethic. They didn't change their desire. Right? They thought, oh, cool, I'm moving to a bigger city, more opportunity. It's not going to be more opportunity because you're still doing the same things.
Same thing.
So that's the first and foremost. I mean, you can't move. You got to move like the person you're trying to be. You can't move like the person where you are right now.
Yeah.
because if you make decisions based on where you are right now, you're going to be in the same place. That doesn't make sense.
And running back to what you're
running back, right? So you can't run the comfort. You can only grow in discomfort.
Yeah.
So that move should make you uncomfortable enough to say, all right, I need to step my game up a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? I need to make sure that instead of watching TV for 3 hours a day, right, maybe I cut it down and I'm reading maybe at least an hour, right? Something like that, right? So you need to make sure that when you do that, you change it, because it's very important to know that everything you are doing is for your future self.
Yeah.
Every single thing you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And there's a quote by Lao Tzu, I always say this, is if you live in the past, that's where you're depressed. If you live in the future, that's where you're anxious. And if you live in the present, that's when you're happy, right? That's when you're happy. So it's important that we make sure that everything we're doing is calculated, like I said before. If I'm moving to a new city, I can't just be moving there because my homeboy said it was cool.
Yeah.
I need to move with a purpose, like you keep saying purpose.
Yeah.
So identify your purpose. Why am I moving?
Yep.
Why am I doing anything that I'm doing? Right? Because if I don't have a goal in mind when I'm doing it, then it's going to be off and up.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of us fail. We don't have those goals.
Yes. And honestly, I could say that too. Because I was in this season of like just wanting to run away, wanting to get away. Because I graduated school in 2018 and then found out I was pregnant literally like 3 months after graduating school. And so, so like at the time, like me and my child's father, like we weren't together, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I just gotta go. Like, I just gotta get out of here. Like I can't be here. It was, too much to deal with. But then every time I tried to go or get away, it was always blocked. Yeah. It was like, like, what are you leaving for? And, I'm sitting out asking God, I'm like, okay, God, like, I'm ready to go. Like, I don't want to be here no more. I'm ready to run. And he was like, what are you running for? What are you running for?
Right.
He just was like, everything that you need is right here at home. And it may not be what you want, but it's what you need. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, you're right, God. Okay. Like, and I'm gonna take it and just be okay with it. And that's when I really realized, like you said, like, what would have been the purpose of me moving? Honestly, what would have been the purpose of me packing me and my newborn up, going to another city? For what? Just like you said, just to go and run right back when stuff don't work.
You'll be running right back, right?
And that's what I feel like people have to understand too. It's just like, it may look good because the person on Instagram doing it, the person on Facebook doing it, or whoever's on YouTube, like, living that lavish life. But who says that's the life for you? You know what I mean? You have to understand. Like, you really have to understand.
Exactly.
You have to understand that.
And that's wholeheartedly true. And, we also have to be, comparison is the enemy.
Yes.
Right? Comparison is the enemy. So you have to be careful about that, right? When you see something on social media, it's probably not real in the first place.
Hello.
Right? So make sure you're not comparing yourself to that, for one.
Right.
But two, when you look at life and success, you have to define your own definition of success.
Yes.
You asked me what I got from my move, and I'm sorry I didn't answer it then.
No, you're okay.
So passionate, but what I got, I moved when I joined the military at 22. Okay. I moved I went to basic and AIT, then I moved to Atlanta. And what I got from even going to basic, right, was a different perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of being in that environment I talked about in Rochester, New York, which was all I knew. Right. It allowed me to meet so many different people, allowed me to experience different cultures, allowed me to get a paradigm shift. Right? Yeah. Because I'm listening to all these people from different backgrounds, different ways of life that I would probably never have talked to. Right. So it just allowed me to see, like, oh, there's a lot more in this world than I thought. Yeah. And there's a lot more beauty in the world because I was just focused on the negative. So it allowed me to shift and see, okay, there's positives here. Yeah. Right. And there's positives in me too, right? That I didn't know. Right. And I'm capable of doing so much more. So if you do want to make a move, something like you said, you got to slow down sometime, right? You got to sit down and really think, like, what am I trying to accomplish? And that's what the move did for me. It was like, okay, I know what I need now. And I know what resources God was talking about before. Yeah. Right. Because I still hadn't known those until I left.
Yeah.
And I found my resources was, for one, I can feed into other people. Right?
Yeah.
As long as my cup is full.
Right.
But identifying what the full is was very important in that journey.
Yeah. No, I fully feel that. And honestly, that's like low key how I operate. I don't pour into people when I can't even put nothing in my cup. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to continue to speak into you when right now I need somebody to speak into me. You know, but I do find, like you said, like the happiness and being passionate just about pouring into others. I don't even care if I haven't seen you in 5 or 6 years, but if something is given to me to pour into you, I'm gonna text you, I'm gonna call you, I'm gonna do what I have to do. But that's a part of your resources. You know what I mean?
Yes,
like
100%.
having people who are resourceful around you, even just to check in on you, even they haven't heard from you in like a couple weeks. Like, hey, friend, how you doing? You know, I ain't heard from you. Just want to make sure, you know, you're good. And that type of stuff goes a long way. And then that's when I want to talk about, you know, like your mental is really, it's your health. You know, if you're not mentally stable, mentally doing the work, mentally like getting yourself together, you're gonna crumble because you're not, like, your mind is everywhere. So as a coach, how important is like your mental when you're trying to be vulnerable, when you're finding your confidence, when you're really trying to get yourself together? How important is that mental state?
You have to, you're not going to come into it with the right mental state. I'll say that now, because you're automatically already in this scarcity mindset. So it's very important for you to be open-minded when you come into these things.
Yeah.
Right. It's important for you to be coachable when you come into these things. It's important for you to be willing to step out on a limb. And you talk about being vulnerable, and how I coach, I'm going to put you in a place for you can have lasting success, but you need to be willing to do the work. Yeah. Right? If you're not implementing, then it's not going to work. So that open-mindedness and that willing to really change your lifestyle and change your destiny in so many words is paramount, right? So the mindset, you're not going to get anything else because the mindset is the foundation. It's just like, when you work out your body, you have to work out your mind too. Yeah. And in order to do that, right, you have to make sure, we talk about personal development, make sure you invest in yourself, make sure you're setting healthy boundaries with people and things, right? Because without the boundaries, it's not going to work either, right? So because you talk about having your cup full, the boundaries allows you to have healthy relationships and makes everyone else better around you too, right? Because if I say, hey, at 9 o'clock, I'm not talking to nobody, right? I'm shutting on my phone, I'm reading, I'm investing in myself, whatever. Yeah, they may be like, oh, you crazy, whatever, but they respect that. Yeah. And if they don't, then another boundary is, all right, cool. Well, you're not respecting my elevation. So I can't have you with me right now. You know what I mean? When you're ready to grow, then cool, we can talk. But so that's another thing. It allows you to set those boundaries, because a part of being vulnerable is the opposite end, right? Is also being willing to say, hey, right now, I can't talk. And you don't need a reason or excuse. You just say, hey, that's it. Like, hey, no is one of the best words you can have in your vocabulary. So many people are afraid of saying no. Right? You're doing things that's draining you. You're going out when you don't feel like it, right? You're doing things for people you don't have it, whatever. So you got to learn these things, right? These are all a part of that mindset, though. The mindset of abundance teaches you to set the boundaries and say no in order for you to elevate, so you can pour into other people and have more time to do the things and spend the time with people you love.
Yes. And I want to go back to talking about boundaries, and you touched something really, really good, because I've learned that, and especially with having a kid, you have to set healthy boundaries. You know what I mean? Sure. You have to set attainable boundaries. Okay. Like, you can't say you want to do X, Y, and Z, and you expect that person to do X, Y, and Z, but you're not even meeting them halfway, or you're not holding them accountable to the boundaries that you set.
Right.
So, and it's just crazy, because it's like, well, people take advantage of me. They're not listening to me. And I'm just like, boy, what boundary have you set? What have you said in that person's face and was like, listen, I don't like you doing X, Y, and Z. This is how I feel about X, Y, and Z. If this is how we're going to move forward, is X, Y, Z. And and I just feel like people just really have to be you have to be comfortable with setting boundaries. You have to be comfortable with saying no, because saying no leads to burnout, and you just around here tired, stressed out because you weren't about what everybody else doing, or trying to be there for one person, try to be there for the next. We're not even there for yourself.
Right.
And trust me, and I listen, when I had to learn that word no, like real good, because I'm like, no, I'm not gonna tire myself out. I got things that I want to do, that I want to accomplish personally. And if this isn't going to benefit me, or if it's not going to help me grow or help me elevate, why are we still communicating? Right. And then that also goes to elevation too. And I feel like when people feel like they're about to elevate, they're afraid of losing people. Why are you afraid of losing someone that's not going to help you get to the next level? Or y'all stuck in that same mindset that it's only right here. Like, this is the furthest you could go. This is the furthest you could go. When you got a whole 10, 15, 20 levels, you know what I mean? That you're trying to reach where God is wanting to take you. Like, elevation you're meant to be separated. And I just want to encourage the listeners though, like, don't be afraid for God to separate you. Don't be afraid, because separation meets preparation, and preparation meets elevation. You can't listen. You can't be scared. You can't be scared. And I say, and that's one thing I learned too. Like, even just by doing this podcast, like, my mind and my heart is so invested in it. So if that means that I'm missing out on certain things because this has to be right, I'm okay with that.
Right. And the thing is, you're not missing out on anything. You know, we have this FOMO, right? We have the fear of missing out. And it's like this. I always say, I would rather work hard, right, for 5 years straight, and just like, you know, do whatever I need to do to have the rest of my life where I'm living it up, and I have all the time I want to travel, do whatever I need to do. Whatever. Yeah. Right? I would not go out. I would do whatever. And you know, that's, you asked how I, you know, come to here. I did that, right? I was in school for forever, right? I was getting deployed in the military for forever, but I knew what it meant, right? I felt in the time you might feel like you're missing out on things, but then you realize how much it brings you, right? When you're walking in your purpose, it brings you so much more, and you're not losing anything, right? You can love people from a distance, right? Because what you don't want to do is, you know, when you reach your hand out, cool, reach your hand out. I'm always trying to give back. You know, if I'm in a better position, cool, I'm gonna give back in any way that I can. But you also have to be willing to say, all right, I'm not helping this person, I'm enabling this person. And there's a huge difference, right? Because when you're enabling, you're hurting. So we have to be willing to say, all right, I'm tripping, right? I'm being a crutch to a person that's not willing to hold themselves up. Not even trying to stand on their own, right? So how can I help them, right? So now not only you're hurting them, but they're also weighing you down. So we have to stop holding on to anchors that are weighing us down. So we need to be able to say, hey, you know, I'm growing. You know, you're still here. You know, I see where you're at. Cool. I'm gonna love you from a distance. Right. But I'm going up. Yeah. Right? I'm going up. And, you know, if you're willing to learn and come up, I'll share this knowledge with you, but they have to implement it. And if they're not, you shared the seed, you planted the seed, that's it. That's all you can do. You cannot do the work for anybody else. Yes. And we have to realize when it's time to say, all right, I'm done talking to you. You know, I'm about to do this work and I need my space. Set them boundaries. and you have to set boundaries with yourself too. Yeah. Right? Because if you set boundaries, that's why sometimes when you tell people I want it this way and they don't do it that way, you're still like, all right, fine. No, you got to set boundaries with yourself and say, all right, I will allow this person to do this once, right? Or twice, whatever it is, and say, all right, I'm done after that. Right? I'm not going back to that because I know what it is. So there's a lot to this mindset thing. There's a lot to this perception thing. And it really boils down to, I always talk about self-esteem, right? Really boils down to that self-esteem piece, how you looking at yourself, because self-esteem means it's what you value yourself as. Yeah. And a lot of us do not value ourselves as priceless, right? We're willing to put a price tag on what we're worth. Hello. Right? And that's just not, you can't do that because now you're not going as far as you should be going. Because If this job pays me, you know, 100K, I won't have this business that I really want to do.
That I really want to
do. I'll work 20 hours a day for this 100K because I value myself at 100K.
At 100K.
That no. Or if this person buys me this necklace, you know, now I'll stay with them even though they mistreat me. Yeah. Right? These are things that really equate to not having low self-esteem. You know, you're having that low self-esteem, so you can't allow yourself to see that you're worth so much more and that you really are capable of whatever it is that you have brought your mind to. So we got to understand that sky is not the limit. We can't say sky is the limit when man already touched the moon.
Hello.
So you got to keep going, keep pushing, and believe that you can. It's not easy.
No, right? By any means. And I kind of feel like that's the misconception, that following your purpose and walking in your purpose is easy. It's not easy by no means necessary, because if it was easy, then everybody would be doing it.
Exactly.
If it was easy, God would just put it in our hands when we just say, okay, God, I'm ready. Like, you know, release it. Even when you know, mentally and physically and emotionally, you're not ready to walk into that. You get what I'm like? And that's the whole thing. Don't take on something just trying to figure out what is going to get you in the future or what is going to get you right now. You have to be fully invested in everything that you put yourself in. You have to invest in that. And your mindset is like number one. Because if you go into something thinking negative and thinking that it's not going to work out, 9 times out of 10, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out, because you've already put that fear in your heart and in your mind that, yeah, this ain't even going, it's not even going to last long. It's probably going to last about a good week, a good 15, 20 minutes. But why? But why walk into a situation with a negative thought already?
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't even know what somebody is about to bring you, what door is about to open, just by you saying, I'm good. This is going to work out. Like, I don't know how it's going to work out, but it's going to work out.
Right. It's the law of attraction, man. Law of attraction. It's like, yo, if I say that it is, then it is.
Then it is.
You know, Henry Ford said that, right? If you think you're right, whether you think you're wrong, you're right. you know, whatever, however you think, you're right.
It is what it is. Yes.
It is what it is. And we have to stop. You know, it's really about having these preconceived notions. Whether it's a preconceived notion about you, or it's a preconceived notion about someone else or a situation. You got to come in there, drop your ego at the door, and you got to come in there again, open-minded, to say, all right, whatever happens, I'm willing to accept that. Good, bad, and different. I'm willing to accept it because I'm going to put my effort into it wholeheartedly. But we have to understand that we don't control the outcomes, right? It's not the outcomes that we're controlling. We're controlling the effort that we're putting in. We're controlling how we perceive it, and we're controlling how we receive it, right? Perceive, receive, and effort. That's what we control.
That's it.
Right? So when you change those things, no matter how it goes, you understand if didn't go my way, okay, I learned lessons. What lessons did I learn so I can apply next time, right? And that's what we have to look at everything as. Mistakes, same way. If I'm still here, I'm still, you know, have my faculties about me, I'm still moving, I'm still alive, then now I can apply those in whatever circumstances next, right, wherever I'm at. So that's how we have to look at it. Like, life is about lessons, right? It's not about perfection. There's no such thing, right? But our job is to progress. Our job is to not give up and progress and be compassionate to ourselves and others. Right? That is really the key.
Yes, because, and progression is key.
Yeah, that's what you can do, right?
And that's it.
And we have to understand that, like, at some point, you know, everyone has doubts at some point, right? Even me, myself, be as a mindset coach, being a mindset coach or being about an abundant mindset really is about listening to yourself, being mindful about your thoughts, right? Acknowledging them, and then placing an interrupt between my thought and my emotion and my actions. Right. That's really the difference between me and a lot of other people. Is I can say, oh man, my emotion does not match the situation. Right. Or I could say my thoughts are negative and I shouldn't be having those right now because it's not serving me in any way. Right? We all have these things, but then I also say, all right, I've acknowledged that, right? I've accepted and I've processed whatever happened. Right. And now I can choose how I respond. right? I can choose instead of being reactive, I'm actually responding intelligently. Right? So if I get upset, I can feel that. But now I take that breath. I feel like, yo, I'm getting hot right now, right? I'm getting upset, and I can take that breath and I can say, okay, I don't want to say this that just came into my mind right now. Right. So let me remove myself from the situation. Be like, yo, we can talk later in a minute. Give me a minute. I need it so I can be intelligent and respectful. Right. Or I can say, all right, I did not like the way you said that. Or, I feel like whatever it is I need to say, but I'm going to make sure it's not accusatory. And I'm going to make sure it's, I don't need to take it back or I regret what I just said. Right. So that's the difference, right? That response versus reacting.
Yes. And honestly, too, I feel like that's something that I had to learn too. Not every action deserves a reaction. And I also had to learn that, don't think with your heart. You have to be able to think with your mind as well, because thinking with your emotions is going to lead you down roads that you ain't even supposed to be going down.
You're not supposed to be going down. You're right.
Because I'm mad, I'm sad. Like I don't want to deal with it. So I'm gonna make you hurt just as much as I'm hurting. And that causes a lifetime of hurt on something that was supposed to just be temporary. But you caused that because you didn't want to sit down and think and just be like, okay, if I act this way, this where it may lead me. Now, if I act this way, though, I know I can see myself coming out on the other side, being victorious and just knowing that this was a lesson. Like you said, life is about lessons, and you can't be afraid of life teaching you a lesson. Because regardless if you want the lesson or not, it's going to come. You know what I mean? It's going to come.
Yeah, in some way, shape, form. God's going to give you the lesson that you need, right, to move, but it's to move forward. Right? It's up to you to take that lesson and receive it.
And to hone in on that. You have to hone in on that experience, and you either allow it to make you or break you. I want it to make me, not break me. Now, they put me down a little bit, but it allowed me to get back up. And I feel like that's the whole point. Like the whole point of failing is knowing that you can get up again. It's not about staying down. Maybe when you get up, you're going to try it differently. Or when you get up, you're going to try it the way that God's been telling you to try it. Not the way man's been telling you to try it, but the way God's been telling you to try it.
Right. Well, and the thing about failure, right? We fear failure. And there's two things I'm going to talk about right now.
Sure.
Fear and failure, right? So failure is a part of success, and we look at it as two separate things, right? It's not. Success is insulated by failure. In order to achieve that and really have lasting success, you have to go through some failure along your journey, right? That prepares you for that success. That also makes you understand, like if you lose whatever you gain, it makes you understand how to get it back. Now you can reverse engineer because you've gone through those steps and you've seen what it was like to not obtain it or to fall short, whatever, right? And a lot of athletes, you see them lose, they say, man, that loss hurt. And they take it the next year. If they win, they say, oh, that loss hurt so bad, but we learned so much from that. Right? We became stronger as a team. Or if it was a boxer or somebody like that, when Ali lost, when he came back from being in jail, right? When they took his license away, when he lost, he said, that was the best thing. They asked him why he got up so quickly when he got knocked down. He said, because that's no place for a champion. He knew that when he got knocked down, he had to get back up, right?
Right back
Even
up.
though he, that was considered a failure. Everyone was shocked, like, oh man, Ali just got knocked down, right? He didn't worry about that, what everyone else was saying. Because he knew in his mind, he said, I needed this lesson. Right? I needed that lesson because I needed to remember who I was. And I needed to remember why I was doing this.
Why I was doing it.
And he no longer expected to win, right? He didn't expect to win. But he knew in his mind, he told himself he was the greatest before he even knew he was. Right. And that's the difference between failing and staying down and letting it defeat you and failing and succeeding. Right. Failing, and it's really all about, that fear. We all have fear. Right? We all have fear. Right. Again, Ali, because that's my guy. When he stood up for the Vietnam thing, and he knew that they were going to take his boxing license away. I'm sure he feared that because boxing was his life.
That was his life, right? That's his livelihood.
And that's how he had his livelihood and everything. And he was not very good with his money, right? So he was like, "Oh man, how am I going to do this?" Right?
Right.
Yeah. So fear. When we think about what we do with fear, that's the difference between someone who is great and someone who's average, right? Fear will move you to do things that you once thought were impossible.
Yes.
Right? Because that feeling, that nervousness, that fear that you feel when you're about to do something that you've never done, it's the same as excitement.
Yeah.
The same feeling, right? The knees shaking, you start feeling a little nervous, right? You think everyone can see this, but no one can see you shaking in your boots, But what you do with that, right? So me, like, I do speaking as well. Yeah. Right. When I first did speaking, man, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Right? Like these people are looking at me. I grabbed the mic. I'm like, I wonder if they can see me shaking right now.
Yeah, like I'm here.
But I told myself I wasn't afraid. I was excited.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I said in my mind. And it made it so much different. So we got to understand that fight or flight response is from our primal brains. Right. That's from when we had to worry about saber-toothed tigers and all these things creeping out of the bush and eating us.
Yeah, it's trying to get us. Right.
Yeah, that's to keep you alive. But we are in the safest time on earth right now. This is the safest time ever. And we got to realize like what we're going for, right? It's probably not going to kill you. Right? It's probably not going to kill you. Right. And that fear should be motivating you. Like, man, I'm about to use this adrenaline to freaking, move this mountain that I'm trying to move, right? Whatever it is. And it's important for us to break it down into chunks and milestones, whatever it is. Like if I'm fear public speaking, first thing I'm gonna do, right, is I'm gonna speak to myself in the mirror, right? I'm gonna speak to myself, right? Or whatever it is that helps me. Then I'm gonna speak to a friend, right? You just got to break it down, take steps
take time
where you're getting over that. Then you go to Toastmasters or something, speak to some people you don't know, whatever it is you got to do, but just take action. Right? That's how you get over your fear.
Yes,
you right? You don't have to eat the whole elephant at once. Break it down into chunks. You don't have to go from here to here. It's not gonna work.
Not gonna work that way.
It's not gonna work. You skip the whole journey. Right? Take that journey and go up. Right. And use the failures and all that stuff as stepping stones towards your success.
Yes. And honestly, then that's how I feel about the You're Not Done Yet podcast. Like I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I'm gonna launch it, and then boom, in 6 months, I'm about to be, the top podcast. And I'm like, girl, you gotta work, honey.
You have to.
It's not just gonna come, just like you can manifest it and pray about it, but what is the work that you're putting behind it? And then honestly, when I put the podcast down, I just felt so empty. And I'm just like, well, Lord, what am I supposed to be doing? And I came in the computer room at my mom's house and I'm like, there go the mic. There go to Mike. And I I was like, because that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, and you're natural at it, if I might say.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're natural.
And when I did my first episode, and my friend texted me and she just was like, girl, I'm so happy because I didn't think he was coming back. She was like, this is what I missed. Like, this is what I needed. And I just was like, girl, like you've been listening to me like that. You'd
be surprised.
And but it's always a good feeling for someone to just be like, I can't wait for the next episode. Like, girl, you've been doing it. And I'm just like, thank you. But like you said, it goes into having that mindset. And the thing is, I want to be positive about this thing through and through. And I know that it's going to be sometimes where I'd be like, oh, I don't feel like recording a podcast today. Oh my God, I don't feel like reaching out, for this interview, but I'm going to do it anyway, because this is what I'm meant to do. I know that this is where I'm supposed to be. And so I just was like, well, it don't matter how many times you put it down, it seems to always find for you to pick it right back up. And I'm like,
indeed.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, Lord have mercy. Because when I felt that and I heard it, I was like, yeah. And then, like I said, when you guys had reached out to me, I was like,
yeah, you're like, how did they find me?
Jevon,
well, my publicist is amazing. She's the dopest, right? Guernica, man. I ain't gonna, yeah. Everybody don't reach out to her because I need her, all right? But she's dope, man. She'll find you.
Shout out. And that's why, because honestly, when I got the email, I'm like, is somebody trying to punk me? Like, what is this? Like, is this a joke? And then no, she was like, no, like this is real deal. And I was like, well, thank you. Because I'm used to reaching out to people, not people reaching out to me. So it was just like, whoo, okay, and I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna
that's you manifesting.
Yeah.
That's you manifesting, showing that the work is not going unnoticed, right? We talk about, we always hear, people say, I'm putting it in God's hands, right? And I always ask them, okay, well, what are you doing? Because you can't put it all in God's hands. You still got to work.
Still got to work. Still got
faith without work is what?
It's dead. That's why I got a tattoo on my wrist right here. For faith.
Oh, work. See, so I have someone who always reaches out to me. She always says, someone who's been following me on social media, and she's on my email list, and she always talks about, God doing the work and all stuff. And I always ask her, like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
Do you know your purpose? Right? Still waiting on that answer. Because that question stumps 95% of the people I ask.
95% of people. Yes. That's why I always make it my mission in every episode to encourage my listeners to go and seek it. You know what I mean? And honestly, it may not be revealed to you soon as you ask for it, but it's going to be revealed when it's ready to be revealed. But you have to be ready. And my uncle says this thing. He says you have to meet your blessings halfway. And I was like, that should be on the t-shirt, sir. But
that is a t-shirt.
That's true. You have to meet your blessings halfway, because God is only going to meet you so far. But you have to be willing to take that leap of faith and that step to meet him right there.
Like, Lord, about preparation, right? People say luck. What is luck? Right? That's preparation meeting opportunity. It's not lucky. You prepared for that. Right? So that's what you have to do. You have to be doing the work. You have to be doing. That's the only way these things are coming. And you cannot give up.
No. And that's where I was like when I started the podcast. Because I was like, well, ain't enough people listening to it. Like, I ain't getting no listeners, no subscribers. And I'm just like, but you gonna let that little small thing stop you from doing what you're supposed to do. And I was like, you're right.
Right.
You're right. You're right.
It only takes one, right?
Yes.
It only takes one person, like, again. That's the vulnerability again. Like, I started my YouTube channel earlier this year. And I don't get like 1,000, email subscribers or YouTube video watchers or anything like that. But I know, what needs to happen for. I'm putting myself in position. So it's really about just playing to full out, right? And really making sure you're investing in it, not doing it half-assed, right? So that's the key, right? Not doing it half, because all these people you see, they started somewhere, right? Your favorite rapper, your favorite talk show host, whoever it is, they started somewhere, right? Oprah got fired, right? Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, right? All these people,
all of that,
right? All of them, whoever you think of, right? You're like, how the heck? Even Jordan, right? Cut from the team. So, but those things motivated them. Right. I only get 10 YouTube video watchers, but I'm like, shit, I'm about to go full out. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna buy me a nice mic, right? I'm gonna buy me a lapel mic, I'm gonna get me a nice camera, I'm gonna change my background. I bought me a green screen now, and I'm coming back even stronger, because I know that's something that is something I want to serve people with, and I want to get that message out, just like you. You start this podcast to be conversational, to learn from yourself for yourself, but also to help others, right? So we have our purpose, right? And we know our purpose is my homeboy, Andre. His name is Andre Notes. He wrote a book. It's called "The Purpose Is Not for You," right? And that's one of the quotes I love. Like, when he wrote that, I said, "Yo, that's dope."
That's it.
That's dope. And he's a person you should probably bring on too.
Okay, send me his stuff.
I'll set y'all up. Yeah. So and when I wrote my book, same thing, right? Speaking of books. When I wrote my book, same exact thing. When I was writing that, I had no idea what I was going to write about. No idea. But then the title "Own Your Kingdom," which is my shirt as well, came to me, right? Own your kingdom, because that's really what it is all about, right? Your mindset, your emotions, and your person is your kingdom, right? All one thing. So in order to own it, we have to make sure we're taking care of it, we're investing in it, and we're treating it right? Because to be honest, the only way to change, especially in the Black community, right? Only way to change the dynamics of what's going on in our communities is to have longevity, right? We got to be doing these things for a long time, right? So we can plant those seeds, and the seeds keep rolling down. Right. Yeah. So that's what I'm going for. I'm going to be doing this for a long time. God willing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the goal. So let's own our kingdom. Let's serve in our purpose.
Yes.
And let's make a difference.
Yes. Well, Jevon, I would say this was a great conversation. Definitely needed. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and then taking the time to get on the screen with me and we, get this message out. I'm so excited about that. So if you have any projects that are upcoming or anything that you like for us to know, please share and let us know where to find you, how we can set up a coaching session, and what we should be expecting from you, like in the coming months, next year, what's going on.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been an honor and a privilege for me. Like I said, you are definitely walking in your purpose because you are amazing at podcasting. I can hear your energy. So keep bringing it. Keep bringing it every time. And things, it's going to be fruitful for you. I already know. And I would love to come back whenever you're willing to have me.
Okay.
So regarding like where they can find me.
Yeah.
You can go Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. It's all Live Not Loathe, right? Okay. Search, of course, Instagram and Twitter is one word. TikTok, I'm on there as well.
Okay.
Everything. So Facebook, I have a community. Just search Live Not Loathe. And then also you can go livenotloathe.com. Right, you can find my coaching programs. You can set up, book your call. I have free resources, webinars. I have, a goal setting worksheet on there called Spring Clean Your Life. You can find everything. Just go to livenotloathe.com. Okay. You can get my book, right? Get this t-shirt and apparel. Everything's going to be on there. Regarding what's coming next up is I'll be doing some speaking engagements for next year, January, starting at the New Year, New You conference in Atlanta next January. Okay. And then I'll have some other things coming with Dr. Cheryl Wood and Les Brown. I'm doing a collaboration book with them. So that'll be coming in probably summer of next year. Okay. So just stay on the lookout. I'm working, I'm grinding.
I love it.
And for the coaching program, again, just sign up, Live Not Loathe, free 45-minute discovery session. You can't beat that. I'll help you find clarity. Right. Yeah. I'm here to serve.
And I appreciate that. And thank you for letting us know where to find you. Because I know I'm definitely booking my coaching session.
Yeah, book it. Book it before you forget.
I know. So I'm about to go on the website and do it before I forget. Because I need it. And honestly, it was like my first time ever hearing like the mindset and vulnerability. I'm like, let me hop on that. Because
you know what I'm gonna do for you is I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna put it in the Zoom chat since we're on this. Right. Okay. To book a session. I even, you can share this with your listeners too. Okay. So you ain't even got to go to the whole website. I'm gonna put the one link that you're gonna need to book it. Okay. To make it easy. And then so how it works for the sessions is, when you book it, you fill out an application to make sure that you're a good fit for the program, because we want to make sure we get action takers. Okay. No, I feel that. Don't sign up if you're not willing to do the work. Don't sign up if you ain't ready.
Oh no, I get that 100%. I get that.
Like we said, this is not easy. This takes dedication. Because I'm gonna be on you. That accountability. I'm gonna be on you because I want everybody to design that life they don't need a vacation from.
Yes, and I need it. I totally need it.
Yeah, well, let's get it.
I'm gonna take advantage of that. But Jevon, once again, thank you so much for being a guest on the You're Not Done Yet podcast. And I can't wait to see what you accomplish and how you grow and how you elevate. Because I'm gonna say I know him.
Yeah. Hey, same. I'm gonna say I was on her podcast.
Yes, I know him. He was on my podcast. Yeah. But guys, I really hope that you take something from this episode. And if you do want to reach out to Jevon, he laid out all his information, but I'll make sure that I'll link it in the description of the podcast on the website. And then this will also be uploaded to YouTube too. So you guys can watch it there. But yeah, this has been another episode of the You're Not Done Yet podcast, where your purpose is moments away. And we're here to help you get there. But I hope you guys enjoy it. All right.